Update. Am I the a-hole for not going back to my home country for my sister's wedding? Original post. I, 28, immigrated to Canada 7 years ago. I got married after I was 21, and my husband was already living there and came back for marriage. It was arranged by my grandparents. It was strange at first, but I truly did love him. In my religion, remarriage is not prohibited. There is a part of it, if I say in English, that says husband and wife are not those who sit together but whose souls are shared. I feel like my husband's soul and mine are shared, and I have no interest in ever being with another man. My grandparents do not understand that. They want me to bring my kids back to my home country so they can get me remarried, so my kids can have a dad. Even if I wanted to, there are so many unknowns in that scenario that I do not wish to deal with. They have stopped asking me now, but I know it is what they want. My sister, 24, is getting married in June, and she badly wants me to be at her wedding. I would be lying if I said I do not want to go myself. From the way my grandparents were talking, I just know that if I go, they are going to try and get me married too. It's not a situation where I'd end up getting married, but I do not want to put up with the harassment and subject my kids to the idea that they might get a dad because they had a dad who loved them. When I told my sister that I was not going to be able to go, she got very upset with me. She called me selfish for not wanting to come after not seeing her for so many years. I pointed out how our grandparents are, but she said I should put up with it for a month for her. Maybe she is right, and I'm being a jerk about this because we were so close before I left. To edit, my husband has passed away and so have my parents. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not day home. What you wrote about your marriage is beautiful. You may or may not ever find another love like that. That will be your choice to open your heart. I'm not sure about your culture or whether your family home would be a safe place to be. If you feel like you would be in danger of kidnapping or similar, you must not go. However, if you can trust them not to pressure you, you should go be with your sister and celebrate. Put ground rules in place and have a plan for an early departure if you need it. I'm not sure I agree with the last part. Opie lucked out with her husband, but she could not be as lucky with the next one. And right now, she has children to consider too. Her grandparents are showing a lot of signs of not respecting her wishes. Opie has noticed and remarked on this, and if she were to go to that country, she could be in a situation where she can't just have an early departure. It's not rare in countries where arranged marriage is encouraged for the reluctant bride to be locked in a house or given a chaperone so that she cannot escape until the wedding. Not a-hole. It sounds like you're concerned about being pressured into getting married again. This is a lot easier to resist when you're in another country. Could your grandparents be using you to get residency for someone in Canada by marrying you? I'd stay away too. It is very likely. Don't risk it. It's not only that you could end up with a bad husband, your children could end up with a bad stepfather who treats them as less than because they are the kids of your first husband and not his. You could be risking not only your future, but theirs too. Not day home. I'm assuming how it's written that your husband is no longer with you. You said you were essentially soulmates, so I'm sorry for your loss. I'm having to fill in some gaps here, but it sounds like you going back will put you in an unsafe position and possibly expose your kids to some harm at the same time in regards to having a new dad. Being back there for a whole month is a substantial amount of time as well. Time for your grandparents to try and manipulate you and your kids. Maybe the secret option is to have someone babysit your kids for a long weekend and you can go back for the main ceremony, if it's safe to do that. And now for the update. So after reading everybody's comments, I got worried that my grandparents may actually be planning to make me get married. So I called my brother and told him my fears. He called my sister and he told me it tricked her into revealing our grandparents' schemes. Apparently, they were planning to get me married maybe at the same time as my sister or after. I do not know how they thought they could get away with it, since the temple would never allow that, but it was their plan. So my brother told me I could either make it clear I was not going and end things publicly, or I could just do it secretly. I feel betrayed by my sister, and I know my brother is angry with her. But history of my people teaches us not to seek revenge, and that would hurt my sister's wedding and her reputation. So my brother bought me and my kids tickets, and the plan is to cancel and get my doctor to give some medical reasons not to fly. My doctor is from our community and she will understand. I had to calm my brother down so he can still enjoy her wedding, since him being there is more important. It is sad that I cannot go back to my home country now and I cannot take my kids there either. But Canada is a great place. Nobody here pressures me for remarriage, and every man and woman at work treats me and my situation with respect. My husband is not alive anymore, but I know our souls are together forever. I'm sad that my first home no longer believes, but I will never stop. Great job by your brother being there for you. By the way, I'd never go to your old country again, as you'll experience nothing but pressure if you ever go. Yes, my brother has always looked out for me, and it makes me happy that he understands why I do not ever want to be remarried. I will probably go back when my children are older so that they can see the temples that experience our culture, but only if my grandparents have stopped pressuring me. Yes, your brother is a great person who truly cares for you and your family. I think some special thank you dinners for your brother should be on your calendar in the future. When he and his family come over, I will make him all of his favorite foods just like our mom used to make them. Not stay home. My grandpa passed really young from a heart attack. My grandma raised 6 kids on her own. When I was older, I asked her why she never even dated after grandpa died. She said she'd crawl through glass to have 1 minute with him again, and she just lived the life they had planned because it made her happy. She wasn't against remarrying, but she'd met her love and that was enough. Betty White never remarried after her husband passed in 1981. She always said, once you've had the best, who needs the rest? I'm not at all religious, but I hope they manage to meet up again on the other side. History of my people teaches us not to seek revenge, and that would hurt my sister's wedding and her reputation. Here's the thing about history. It was made by people who committed so many sins that they are afraid that they will be targeted, so they discourage revenge. Your family did wrong by you. Don't do right by them. The history of my people is not like that at all, and that is not why they discourage revenge. It is because revenge will give us nothing, and I know I will gain nothing from ruining my sister's wedding but will only lose her. So the best thing I can do is just be happy with my children. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving up my accommodation for the bride's side of the family? My husband's friend is getting married in Spain by the beach. I booked our flights and accommodation as soon as I found out the date, because I was excited and wanted to get a good place now, rather than later when there would be significantly less options. I recently lost a lot of weight and have a lot of loose skin. I'm not comfortable at all with anyone besides my husband seeing my body, so I didn't want to stay in a hotel with a pool. Instead, I booked out a 3-bedroom villa with a pool. It was the smallest option. The others were 7 or 8 beds. My husband told his friend about the good deal we got on it, and he was happy for us. Fast forward to now. He and his fiancée asked if we'd stay somewhere else and allow some of her family to stay there instead. They said they'd give us the money we paid for it. But like I said, we got a good deal because we booked early. There are now no homes with private pools available, and the hotels just cost about the same as the 3-bedroom villa, and I can't use the pool, so I'm getting less for my money. I refused and opened up about why I wanted a private pool. She was really nice at first, and gave me a speech about how beautiful I was and no one would care. But I can't just switch off my insecurity, so I said no again. And then she flipped and said I was selfish for hogging a 3-bed place because I was too scared to get my flab out. The soon-to-be-married couple obviously think I'm the a-hole. My husband thinks I should just let it go because it's their special day and we don't want to make things difficult for them. But at the same time, this is the only time we can afford to go away, so although we are going for the wedding, it's also a holiday for us. And why should I have to be uncomfortable on my break? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. So the a-hole asked for a favor, got turned down, and decided to insult you in order to make you do what she asked? She certainly doesn't sound like much of a friend to me. That's because she's not a friend. She's an a-hole. Also, how is it that the couple getting married don't have their act together with booking rooms for the wedding they're planning? It's not like this was a surprise. Not the a-hole. Go to Spain, enjoy the villa, and skip the wedding. Yes, do this. Not the a-hole. This is another case of people having a wedding and being inconsiderate of the guests. I'm tired of people acting like their special day means they get to treat others like crap. Your husband should be backing you up, because it's messed up. Not stay home. She wasn't being nice. The supportive speech was a transparent attempt to get on your good side in hopes that you'd give her what she wanted. She and her fiancé are entitled a-holes. The relatives should take whatever they can get and learn to plan better. I hope that by "my husband thinks I should just let it go" you don't mean "my husband thinks I should let them have the villa." If that's the case, then he's an a-hole too, especially after that comment she made. Please, please stand your ground and don't give up the villa. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for disrespecting my in-laws and leaving dinner table after my husband's dad insulted me? Last night I had my in-laws visit, made them dinner and put it on the table while I had my own dinner, which was a yogurt and salad, because I'd gained few pounds and my husband pushed for me to lose some. Anyway, we were all sitting eating when my husband's dad asked what I was eating. I told him a salad, and with a confused look on his face, he said, "A salad? That ain't gonna fill up your fat ass." Suddenly, some of my in-laws started giggling, and my husband did too. I felt upset and humiliated, so I got up from my seat and went to stay in my room till my in-laws left. My husband barged in asking why the hell I left my guests by themselves. I told him his dad insulted me and made a joke in front of everyone. He said that I was being too sensitive and too self-cautious, and that didn't warrant leaving the table and disrespecting his family. I argued that he should have defended me instead of laughing along, but he insisted it was just a joke and I should chill. I then said that he's not a lawyer or a police officer, so I should quit expecting him to get involved in every disagreement I have since I'm an adult. We kept on arguing and he said that I disrespected his family by leaving the dinner table and hiding in my room like I was a child when I could have just chilled and kept my cool. My mother-in-law sent a long wall of text about how inappropriate my behavior was. He may be right in that I messed up and was being a bit too sensitive, since this is just how my father-in-law is. Honest and straightforward even with his jokes. Am I the a-hole? Could it be that I overreacted? So let me get this straight. Your husband has pushed you onto a diet. Your father-in-law then joked about your weight. In your home, at your table? And then your darling husband laughed, didn't see how rude this was. But you being upset and leaving the table was what crossed the line? GTFO. Not the a-hole. Hun, I'm commenting here because it's the top comment and I hope you see it. You're absolutely not the a-hole. You were insulted in your home. It is not okay for anyone to speak to you like that. I'm sure your husband and his parents have plenty of faults of their own. Would you be able to get away for a few days to think about the current direction in which your life is headed? Is this what you want for your future? Do you feel lonely in your own home? I promise you deserve to feel loved and appreciated just the way you are. If you would like to lose weight to feel healthier, then do it for you. Treat yourself with the care, kindness, and the love that you deserve from family. Be your own best friend. Your BFF wouldn't want you treated like this. I want to add one thing that might help OP's perspective. Husband can't get involved in every little disagreement, so he doesn't have to defend OP. Well, husband sure had no problem defending his parents and getting involved on their behalf. They're adults too. The excuse of "I shouldn't have to defend an adult" isn't his actual opinion. Husband's view is "I won't defend wife." Yes, absolutely this. My soon-to-be ex used to do the same thing. Finally, someone pointed it out. You mean he won't get involved if his family does something that insults you? He won't stand up for you, but he'll defend his family if you do something that somehow insults them? He'll get involved. Of course he will. When you can be blamed, no matter how minor the infraction, is always somehow your fault. I went, she was right. And thus began the long journey of discoveries of exactly how much manipulative and abusive behavior I had endured for years. OP, you're not the a-hole. You're the victim. Start taking a good long look at your marriage. The situation sucks, yes, but in itself doesn't necessarily warrant divorce. The problem is, it's indicative of other behaviors. Other issues you may not realize are just as harmful. Chances are, this behavior of his isn't the problem. It's a symptom of something much bigger. Love and protect yourself, really. There are several indications of bigger issues here, and you owe yourself a good long look. Not the a-hole, but why exactly are you married to this a-hole? He polices your weight and laughs when his family insults you. WTF? If a member of my family said something like that to my wife, which they wouldn't, I'd throw them out myself. Immediately. No hesitation, the next words out of my mouth would be, "Get out." And he's a hypocrite. He won't defend Opie or get involved when his dad outright insults her because she's an adult and she shouldn't be sensitive. But when his parents feel insulted because Opie walked away, then he has something to say. Well, his parents are adults too, and they should be far less sensitive about people quietly leaving. They're all just mad Opie refused to be the night's entertainment by being their verbal piñata. Hold your head high, Opie, and keep walking away from insulting a-holes. If you're looking to diet, I know a great way to lose a couple 100 pounds of dead weight. It's called a divorce, not a hole. Overheard my boyfriend mocking my autism. Now I'm ending things. Original post. I, 29 female, have a boyfriend, 32 male, and we've been together for almost a year now. Some background. I'm autistic. Specifically, I'm high functioning. I've never struggled intellectually. In fact, my autism has helped me excel academically, and I earned all my degrees faster than most people. Professionally, I'm doing great. However, socially, it's a different story. I often struggle to understand social nuances. That's actually what drew me to my first degree in psychology, an attempt to understand people on a theoretical level. But even with all that knowledge, real emotional connection is still something abstract to me. I can explain attraction and relationships academically, emotional support, self-affirmation, etc. But I don't really feel it the same way others do. Because of this, my social circle has always consisted of other neurodivergent people and close colleagues. I hate having to explain myself constantly. Then about a year ago, I met Jake. He's neurotypical, and I was genuinely surprised by how easily we clicked, something that almost never happens for me with people outside the neurodivergent community. Things were great at first. We went on dates, and I even willingly cut down my work hours, which had never happened before. Work has always been incredibly important to me. Jake was attentive and made a sincere effort to understand my disorder. Early on, he asked for more information, so I gave him some books, and I was touched when he actually read them. But about 3 months ago, things started to change. According to Jake, we were arguing more. Because of my autism, I often don't realize when I offend people unintentionally, so I've always appreciated when someone would calmly explain what I did wrong so I could learn and do better. Jake used to do just that. He'd gently point things out and offer alternative ways to phrase things. I appreciated that. Whenever I accidentally hurt him, I would apologize and usually give a small gift, like how people give flowers after a fight. I thought it was a normal thing couples did to make amends. For example, once at a dinner with his family, his sister said something rude to me. His dad tried to brush it off, saying she was always like that, and I said, "Oh, it's fine. I used to work with children who had narcissistic parents. She's just projecting." Later, Jake told me that his mother was deeply upset because she thought I was calling her a narcissist, and he said I should apologize. I honestly still don't see what was wrong with what I said. From a psychological point of view, it was a fair assessment. But to avoid making it worse, I apologized and even bought his mother a necklace. After that incident, Jake started pointing out every little thing I said. It wasn't just occasional corrections anymore. It felt constant. And each time he expected me to apologize, sometimes accompanied by a gift. At first, I thought maybe I was messing up more. Maybe I was missing some big social cues again. Then about a week ago, Jake had some friends over at my place. After a while, my social battery drained, so I excused myself and went to my room to read and recharge. Later, I realized I'd left my phone charger in the living room. When I went to get it, I overheard Jake telling his friends a story about me. He was laughing and saying, One little word about being hurt, and she'll buy me anything I want. It's hard to explain what I felt at that moment, but hearing that really hurt. And in that moment, everything clicked. The endless apologies, the constant gifts, the sudden increase in mistakes I was supposedly making. He wasn't helping me. He was using me. Using my trust, my guilt, my need to do the right thing, twisting them for his own benefit. I didn't say anything. I just went back to my room and closed the door. I texted him that I had work to do, so he could stay at his place tonight. I'm obviously ending things. P.S. Sorry for the long post. I'm not ready to tell my friends yet, and honestly, writing it down helped me organize my thoughts. Now I have to cancel everything we had planned with my family for the holidays, plus our trip, and that's a lot of work. Thank God I always book everything myself and choose places with free cancellation. Also, writing all this out makes it easier for me to send to my family, my friends, our mutual friends, and maybe even his family. I'm kind of close to his older brother and his fiancé, and his dad, who's a really nice guy. This way, Jake won't have the chance to twist the story and paint me as the villain. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Please stop buying people gifts as apologies. It is not the normal way to do things and makes your apology transactional. It can also come off as buying forgiveness. And I'm aware it isn't intended as such, but others might feel the same way as me if they don't know it's how you try to say sorry. Your sorry is enough as long as it's sincere, and it absolutely sounds like it is. Perhaps if you had only said, I used to work with troubled children and understand when people project, instead of specifically saying it was your experience with children of narcissistic parents. It very clearly seems like you're drawing a causal link between her and those kids, the cause being the parents, which in this instance didn't need to be specified since the sister's parents are not narcissistic. I can see how you interpret it. Working with children of narcissistic parents taught you about projection, and projection can be caused by tons of things. But mentioning the specifics of your personal experience absolutely would have seemed like you were calling them narcissistic, in my opinion. How did you apologize? And did she accept it? Did you feel like you had to buy her a gift on top of the verbal apology or explanation? Considering what he said behind your back, I feel that maybe what you can take away from this experience is that you oftentimes use objects and gifts to win favor with people, or perhaps have a rudimentary understanding of how to make people like you or keep happy with the people in your life. I definitely think you should talk about this with him and ask him to explain what he was saying to them. When you were a kid, did you feel like gifts were a common tool for settling disputes? When I apologized, I did it verbally first. I said I was sorry if what I said came off as offensive, and I tried to explain that I was speaking from my professional background, not making personal accusations, and that I'm sorry for making dinner uncomfortable. The gift wasn't something they asked for. It was just me feeling like a verbal apology might not be enough, and trying to show goodwill. And she did accept apology and the necklace. Growing up, gifts were often used in my family as a way to fix conflicts when words didn't work. So I guess that shaped my instinct to offer something tangible when I don't know how to properly navigate emotional situations. That said, even though I'm obviously not her therapist, based on things Jake has shared with me about his childhood and some behaviors I witnessed myself, I do think there are definitely narcissistic tendencies present. I didn't pull that comment out of nowhere. As for Jake, after overhearing what he said about me, I honestly don't think there's anything left to talk about. But I will definitely talk to him later. I still want to hear what he has to say. It will be the right thing to do. But I feel like he was using my trust against me, and that's something I can't accept. Now for the update. Again, first time posting, so I'm not completely sure I'm doing this right. I'll try to highlight some parts so you don't have to read the whole thing. I honestly didn't expect my post to get so much attention. I tried to reply to as many comments as I could. I read most of them and upvoted, but I didn't have enough energy to respond to everyone individually. Sorry about that. Thank you so much to everyone who shared advice, support, or kind words. I've read it all and truly appreciate it. 1. The most important part. We broke up, which I guess isn't a huge surprise. But here's how it went down. I took Tuesday off to sort everything out, And honestly, I just couldn't put it off any longer. I canceled all our summer plans and explained everything to my family and close friends. Still haven't talked with our mutual friends. Not sure if I will. Some of you suggested I shouldn't even meet with Jake and just block him, but I knew that would only lead to endless texts, calls, and possibly him showing up at my door, though he doesn't have a key to my apartment. So, I decided to meet him in a public place, a cafe, explain why I was ending things, and return his stuff that was still at my place. As expected, he tried to justify himself, saying it wasn't what he meant. I've never seen someone switch from panic to anger so fast. The moment he raised his voice, I left. Then I blocked his number. He did try to call my best friend later today, but she immediately blocked his number too. I also met with his older brother and his fiancée. I decided not to send them the post but explain it in person. I can't even describe how kind and understanding they were. They completely supported me. I'm really sad to lose contact with them. They had already invited me to their wedding, but I explained that I wouldn't be able to attend because Jake would be there. Jake's brother's fiancée, the sweetheart that she is, even offered to kick him out of the wedding, but I told her it wasn't necessary. I didn't want to stir up family drama over one person. Wedding planning is already stressful enough. 2. For the person who asked about my academic background, I saw your comment but couldn't find it later. And for people who doubted whether I was fit to be a therapist, I'm not a therapist. I have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in psychology and another in neuroscience. I have a master's degree in behavioral neuroscience. I'm currently working as a cognitive evaluator and research assistant while pursuing my PhD in clinical neuropsychology. In the past, I also completed an internship and later volunteered at a child development center where I supported children as part of a behavioral therapy team. 3. For those who mentioned you shouldn't diagnose people, I completely agree that my comment at dinner was inappropriate. But just to clarify, being narcissistic and having narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, are 2 different things. Being narcissistic, meaning having some self-centered traits, arrogance, or an excessive need for attention, is a behavioral description, not a medical diagnosis. You don't need a formal diagnosis to describe someone as narcissistic in casual terms. 4. About giving gifts. I'll definitely stop buying gifts as apologies from now on. 5. For those who said the post was a bit robotic. As I replied to someone in the comments, English is not my native language. I first learned it for academic purposes, mainly preparing for IELTS. So my English tends to sound a bit more formal and academic rather than casual. It's not something that bothers me or anyone I interact with, so I don't really see it as a problem. Oxford commas, dashes, etc. are the basics. It's not a crime to be a literate person. 6. As for how I'm doing now, honestly, I'm okay, or at least I know I will be. The breakup hurts, of course. It's a really awful feeling, especially considering that it was my first serious relationship. But I also know that not everyone is like Jake. I actually have a session with my therapist tomorrow. I want to make sure I'm really processing everything in a healthy way. I tend to shut down and disconnect when I'm overwhelmed, so I'm trying to stay aware of that. One silver lining, as my best friend pointed out, is that I'll have more time to focus on work now. Again, sorry for the long post. I don't think there will be any new updates, but if any of you have questions, I will try my best to answer. Last story. Best friend tried to take my place and thought she'd win. He gave her the same hell he gave me. I was with my ex from when I was 13 all the way until I was 27. We're the same age. That's almost half my life spent with one person. We had 3 kids together, now 18, 16, and my youngest is 6. We officially ended the relationship in 2019, but to be honest, things were falling apart way before that. About a year before we broke up for good, we had a short separation, and that's when everything changed in a way I never expected. Our relationship wasn't just rocky, it was toxic. It was abusive in every sense, physically, emotionally, and mentally. I stayed way longer than I should have. But when you're young, in love, and you have kids involved, you start to convince yourself that dysfunction is normal. That the yelling, the fighting, the emotional roller coasters, that it's all just part of being in love. You get used to walking on eggshells. You lose yourself without even realizing it. During that short breakup, he got close to someone I thought was one of my best friends. And I don't mean just any friend. This was someone I let into my most personal moments. She was with me at the hospital when I thought I was miscarrying. She planned and hosted my baby shower. She was around for the milestones, the breakdowns, the heart-to-hearts. I trusted her. So when I found out after the final breakup that he was staying with her, part of me was shocked, and the other part wasn't surprised at all. Deep down, I think I always sensed something was off, but I wanted to believe I was just being paranoid. He, of course, denied everything, told me I was crazy, jealous, bitter, that I was just imagining things. He gaslit me hard. But eventually, the truth started slipping out. She began acting more and more like she was playing mom to my kids. She was stepping into my shoes, trying to take my place. And it hurt. Not because I wanted him back, but because the betrayal cut deep. She really thought she had won. That she had beaten me out for some prize. That now she'd get the version of him I never did. And for a while she believed it, until the cracks started showing. Over time, he started venting to me about how miserable he was with her. He admitted to cheating on her constantly. He even said he had gotten physical with her, just like he had with me. It was the same cycle all over again. Same manipulation, same lies, same abuse, just with a different woman. And just like me, she thought she could fix him. She thought love would be enough, that he would change for her. She even believed he'd marry her and that she'd fully replace me in the kids' lives. It only got more chaotic. At one point, he had her fighting with another woman, both of them going back and forth, claiming to be the one he truly loved, both saying they were the closest to his family, both saying they had the engagement ring. It was insane. Watching it unfold was like watching someone else live through the nightmare I had finally escaped. It was the same mess, just recycled. And now, she's gone. I haven't heard from her or seen her in years. He dragged her through hell, maybe even worse than what I went through. In the end, nobody won. Nobody came out of it better. It was just more hurt, more damage, more people broken by one man's selfishness and lies. As for me, I stayed single for 5 years after that. I took that time to work on myself, to heal, to be a mom to my kids without the weight of constant chaos. I had to unlearn everything I thought love was. I had to rebuild my peace, piece by piece. Now I'm finally with someone new, a man who is gentle, kind, patient, and emotionally safe. He brings me flowers just because. He holds my hand in public. He dances with me in the kitchen. He listens to me. He shows up. He doesn't try to control me or hurt me. He just loves me in a steady, quiet, genuine way. The way I never knew I deserved. I'm still healing. That kind of trauma doesn't disappear overnight, but I'm no longer stuck in survival mode. I'm not just trying to get through each day, I'm finally living. And that to me is the real win. Now for the comments. A tale as old as time, he or she treats me differently from you. Or the other banger, he or she changed. They're a better person now. I will never understand how can someone be stupid and or evil enough to do this to someone. They really deserve all they get in the end. Me neither. I had to understand they are both broken individuals. I held on to this story for years, only sharing with those close to me, but feels too good to let it out. Yeah, this is a fun lie we tell ourselves. I knew he hadn't changed from the last one, but it was familiar chaos, and I was so used to the dynamic that it took a long time to register that it wasn't actually something I wanted to keep choosing in my adult life. The next one is swallowing his fictionalized tales of victimhood wholesale, even as he repeats the same patterns with her and her kids. There's someone for everyone, apparently. That makes me sad. I find it especially sad and hurtful when it involves other people's kids. I've been extremely cautious of not getting into another abusive or toxic situation, especially because of my little ones. Well, for myself too, of course, but I can't let them see the cycle continue. Mom has to make good or difficult choices in regard to them and their safety. I may have struggled for years to wake up, but now that I know better, I have to make the best and healthiest decisions possible. I hope she wakes up for the sake of her kids. On top of an abusive relationship. Having your first child at 15 means you never really got to have a full childhood yourself. That's right, life is so different for me now. I've traveled, tried new, scary things, made wonderful friends, have a career I love. There was a time I was scared of even making my own decisions. It's a great life now.